It's so over. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to discuss the Washington Commanders getting their teeth absolutely kicked in by the Dallas Cowboys. Normally, I would tell you what the final score was right here. I don't know what it is. I am not going to waste the end of my evening with my beautiful fiance to watch the fourth quarter of the game. Yet it's still going on. If you want to call me a fair weather fan, you want to call me fake, have at it at the comment section. Maybe you're right. It's not worth giving my time and emotional energy to what was on the field. Trying to bite my tongue. Guys, I'll be very honest with you. Before I do that, as a matter of fact, let me introduce the show. Guys, this is the 5 Names to Remember series. If you are new around here, especially if you are a Cowboys fan, this is my post-game reaction to what we saw out there on the field, where I run you through the stats, I run you through the big plays, the game script, and then we get to the 5 Names to Remember, which is the 5 players or coaches that stuck out for various reasons. Today, I'll be honest, we're going to deviate from how this normally goes. Normally, I start with a review of the major plays, and then I might talk about some standout moments, and then I'll get to a big stat dump. I really pride myself on this channel, not to pat myself on the back, but just to tell you guys the mindset with how I approach the content, the videos I put out here. I pride myself on the analysis that I bring, not just, and this is not me stroking my ego. This is not me saying that I'm smarter than other people. What I'm saying is I like to have concrete information, data points. I'll watch the All-22. I'll break down exactly what happened after multiple looks. I will get advanced analytics. I will get different numbers. I will compare them to the league. I will look at rankings, things like that. Not doing any of that today. First of all, I can't, because the game is still happening, again, as I record this. I'm not going to do it because as much as I am a bit of a reporter on the Commanders, not that these are my reports. I'm not in Ashburn. I'm not in Landover. I'm not there getting the information to give it to you guys, but that's still how I view myself. I view myself as a steward, a bit of a liaison between the team and you guys. And I am a lifelong fan. I don't think I've told this story on the channel before. My mother drove me home from the hospital the day I was born, wrapped in a Washington Redskins blanket. This team is borderline in my blood. I've seen us go through horrible times. I have the emotional connection to the fans, to the team, to the area. Lived in Northern Virginia, D.C. pretty much my entire life, aside from when I was at college. So yes, I speak impartially at times, and I still try to be responsible. I don't try to misuse my platform to spin narratives on you guys, but you also deserve to hear it from a fan perspective today. Because out there in Dallas, it was fun that Dietrich Wise showed up. Not even fun. It was a nice sign. Gave me a sense of belief. You know, this is a family like they talk about. What happened on the field at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas today was not for the fans. It wasn't for the standings, obviously. It wasn't for the season. It wasn't for the coaches. It wasn't for the players. But it wasn't for the fans. And so you guys are going to hear this video from a fan perspective, because that's what you deserve. The team didn't want to show up for the fans today. So I am going to do my best to show up for the fans, like myself, like you, like the Cowboys fans who are rightfully gloating watching this video. The Cowboys fans deserve everything they have. They should be in the comment section right now telling us we suck. They should be laughing at our misery. They deserve everything that they are going to say, aside from any nasty stuff about Jayden Daniels' injury. Don't play with that stuff. I'm having a hard time figuring out where I even want to start this video. Again, normally I have a whole bunch of notes in front of me with numbers and annotations, and I don't have that. This is going to be such a different style from what you guys are used to seeing on the channel. So before I jump into it, that's like 5-6 minutes of just an intro here. Guys, if you made it to this far in the video, we're just getting started, but leave a like on the video, please. Sometimes, a lot of the time when we lose, it's not always fun to come here and record these videos. And considering I don't know what's going to happen to my franchise quarterback, I don't know what's going to happen to this team, I don't know what the rest of the season holds, but I have a feeling it's not good. It's definitely difficult to make this video. So if you support me, if you support the content, and if you just want to support the team through and through, even if they don't look like they want to support themselves, make sure you hit the like button. As always, please leave me your thoughts on everything that I say here and everything I don't say. The comment section is your forum. This platform is your platform. So anything you have to say, put it out there, please. I'll be reading and responding to as many people as I possibly can. Stupid plays. You can't boil what's wrong with this team down to one aspect. Because they're old. They're slow. They don't communicate. They don't make big plays. They have a fear of delivering greatness in the biggest moments. And you know who I'm talking about when I say this. There are a couple of players that are omitted. Jayden Daniels, we know, is omitted from this, although Jayden did not have a great game today. And obviously he's injured. And the biggest thing with this team, I'm not calling the individuals stupid overall. I am saying they make very stupid plays on a football field. Stupid decisions. They're slow to read situations. They read them improperly. These guys know more football than I'll ever know. They've forgotten more football than I'll ever know. I am not smarter than them. But it's not difficult to watch the television and recognize what a stupid play is. And they are chock full of them. For example, the first defensive possession of the game, after Marshon Lattimore, predictably, has already been roasted by George Pickens, gives up a pass interference on a 50-yard call to the end zone. After that's already happened, you come out on your goal line defense with 9 players. Watching it, I was screaming at the television saying, why did we just burn a timeout on 1st and 1 in the first 2 minutes of the first quarter? Because they're going to score anyway. Who cares if you don't like the look they're giving you? And then we see the overhead angle. And I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's it. There were 9 players on the field. So you call a timeout. You go out for the next play. And the Cowboys punch it right down your throat and they score. It took them less than 2 minutes to drive the whole field, get a massive game-changing penalty, get the Commanders to burn a timeout from their own lack of mental awareness, and then score a touchdown. Took them less than 2 minutes. How about a delay of game penalty coming out of a timeout? How does that happen? 8 penalties for more than 90 yards in the first half? I would tell you what it was for the entire game, but again, it's still happening right now. I'm not giving the team my time. I'm not giving them my energy. I'm giving you the energy because the team, the players didn't show it. I'm doing it for you guys, the fan base, but I'm not giving it to that team. So maybe tomorrow, when I post my daily video or I have a stream, whatever it is, maybe I'll tell you what the penalty numbers were, but it was 8 for 90 in the first half. Winning time moments. One of the principles, allegedly, of Dan Quinn's regime. Winning time moments. I'm not going to say many positive things in this video, so I'll say one right now. Tressway, phenomenal punt. You get it down to the 1-yard line by Percy Butler. Don't know why the hell the Cowboys are calling duo in that situation. You're trying to get Schoonmaker to block Daron Payne backed up in your end zone. Yeah, good. See how that goes. Oh, you called it. And you saw what the outcome was. Daron Payne safety, and then the Commanders score a touchdown. It's an 8-7 lead. Don't ask me why DQ went for the 2-point conversion. Okay, so here's the problem with this. The Commanders have not been all that aggressive on 4th down this season. I called for aggressiveness in this game. When they went for it on 4th and 3, 4th and 4, whatever it was on the first possession, I said, okay, clearly DQ's being aggressive. When he comes out and he goes for 2 on that play, I said, uh-oh. He predetermined, I'm going to make the most aggressive decision possible on every situation. That was desperate. There's a difference between aggression and desperation. And maybe if we didn't engage in coach speak, maybe I would hear him say, or I would hear somebody say, no, we are desperate. And in which case I would put my hands up and I say, okay, as long as you admit it, the situation felt desperate, but your play calling was desperate. Going for 2 in that situation, sure, if you get it, you're up 3. But the problem there is if you don't, well, all of a sudden, now you're only up by 1 point. If you had kicked the extra point and it's 9-7 and you score a touchdown again, it's a 2-possession game. But that's not how it pans out. So after that possession, you kick it off, get a return. Matt Gay kicks the ball out of bounds at some point in this game. I don't know when that happened. I don't know where it was in the sequence of events. But what I do know is that Dak Prescott comes out right after you scored a touchdown, 76 yards, 1 play. Quan Martin's leverage is off. He's playing a deep half. He's got what looks like 2 vertical routes coming at him, but then I don't remember if it was a receiver or a tight end, but they break the route off. They cut it outside, and Quan is late rotating over to get to the middle of the field. CeeDee Lamb catches the ball, and here comes Marshon Lattimore. He can't cover anybody. He can't tackle, but boy, does he have a future in blocking. We wanted Lattimore to move from corner to safety. I think, now call me crazy here, I think he could be the next John Bates, a blocking tight end, because Lattimore comes crashing down to make a play, and don't get me wrong, this is Quan's mistake. Quan's leverage was off there. He was too far over. Should have been more closer to the middle of the field to be in position in case that ball does go to CeeDee Lamb. But in case Quan forgot that he had made that mistake, Lattimore said, don't worry about it. I'll make sure nobody forgets because I'm going to take you out clean. Same 2 dudes always running into each other, and that's 76 yards to the house for CeeDee Lamb. First play right after you had got your touchdown. Again, first possession of the game takes them 2 minutes to score a touchdown, less than that. And then on this possession, takes them 1 play to go 76 yards. Got it. Got it. Winning time moments. The opportunity sees momentum, and you do that. Okay, now what about halftime? The final possession on defense going into halftime might be the biggest atrocity that I have seen in the history of football. This is worse than the butt fumble, and this is worse than what Mark Sanchez has also gotten himself into. This is worse than that play the other week where Cardinals player fumbles, the Titans recover, they fumble, and the Cardinals grab it in the end zone. This is worse than dropping the ball while running into the end zone. This is worse than all of it. So after you've scored the touchdown to make it 15-20, I believe the score was, 45 seconds on the clock, Cowboys get it off the kickoff. I'm thinking this is way too much time. I texted my group chat. I said, this is too much time. The Cowboys are going to score a touchdown. First play, Dorrance Armstrong has been lost for the game. By the way, on that note, Dorrance Armstrong, I don't know what's going to happen to him, but he entered this game with a bum hammy. He injures his knee on the first defensive possession of the game. He doesn't return. Is this a multi-week injury? Is this a season-ending injury? I don't know, but boy, it's all bad. When it rains, it freaking pours. We're in a thunderstorm. We are in a flood of biblical proportions right now with the injuries. But back to this play. So no Dorrance. You've been generating no pressure all game. Somehow you get it on this play. Jacob Martin, one of the few guys who showed up and played a good game today. Before I get to the 5 names to remember, I'll make sure to call out. Actually, why don't I do it now? Just so that doesn't get buried any further. Daron Payne, thank you. Frankie Lou had some good moments. He had some mistakes, but he had some good moments too. Jacob Martin, thank you. You really tried today. You made a difference. Chris Moore, thank you. Luke McCaffrey, thank you. I thought Luke broke his freaking back WWE jumping off the cage style, and he comes out and brings the next kickoff out to the 45. I don't know when Luke became the white Devin Hester, but I'm here for it. Not too many other guys that I really feel the need to mention their name. Yeah, I got nothing. So let me get back to what I was saying. So on that play, I believe it was Jacob Martin and Von Miller who get to Dak Prescott. Each of them probably gets credited with a half sack. Haven't looked at the box score. I'm just going to imagine that's how it is. Momentum, 15-20. Despite having, I think, 4 straight possessions of doing nothing. You score early on, and then you score late in the second quarter. The end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, nothing. But okay, you're in a good position, and you get the ball coming out in the second half. So just get off the field here. You score a touchdown to start the second half, and you're up in this game on the road, this crucial game that according to probability, you win this game, you got a 50% chance of making the playoffs. You lose it, you got like a 20% chance. Huge swing game. You come out and you get a sack, something you haven't been able to do all afternoon because you don't have the guys, you don't have the bodies to generate pressure. What happens on the very next play? Marshon Lattimore. George Pickens goes for 44 yards on his head. I've seen people trying to defend Lattimore saying, a good defense, better offense, man. Nothing you can do about a beautifully placed ball. You know what? If Lattimore got his head around, if he was trying to play physical with Pickens and he got a hand on the ball and Pickens ripped it out, I would say, yeah, I agree. I'd be all there with you. No, that's not what happened. Lattimore's just running with him. He's, oh God, I didn't realize Pickens was going to go deep. I guess I gotta try to run with him. And here comes the ball right over the top. Perfect ball from Dak. And that's 44 yards. On the very next play, the Cowboys don't want to score a touchdown. They do not want to score a touchdown. The ball's at the 35. There's 30 seconds left, and they run it. They run the ball with Javonte Williams up the middle. They're not trying to score a touchdown. But guess what? Darnell Savage, Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Reeves do a piss-poor job of fitting the run. And so all of a sudden, he breaks through. Quan gets him about the 10-yard line and then gets dragged. It looks like your little brother, your little sister, your cousin, back in the days when you were wrestling back at home, but you're 12 years old and they're 7. They're just clinging on to you and you're taking them for a ride. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I know Javonte Williams is having a good year this year. The 2 years before that, he averaged 3.7 yards per carry in both of them. Javonte Williams is not an elite back in the NFL, and Quan got dragged like a freaking rag doll. This is the guy that the coaching staff wanted me to believe was ready for a Pro Bowl year. Winning time moments. Jake Ferguson finishes off that possession with a touchdown. Sainer still just too jumpy in zone coverage. He goes out to defend the running back. Wasn't his play to make. You had a flat defender. Sainer's still supposed to be in the middle of the field. Because he does that, cheats over a step, half step, opens up a window for Ferguson, touchdown for the Cowboys. Now it's 15-27 going into halftime. You gave up 27 points in the first half. If Jayden Daniels played this entire game, and if Jayden Daniels was perfect, do you think giving up 27 points is the proper way to support him? I'm going to assume, you know what? Let me look at the final score. Oh, the game's over. Cowboys win 44-22. Cool. I got that for the first time. So they score 44. I know I think they had 41 going into the fourth quarter. I think that's when I went upstairs. They were on pace to score 54. So do you think that's the best way to support your quarterback? The guy who's already been injured, the guy who's down his top 3 weapons, the guy whose running backs can't run the football because the Cowboys know that's all the Commanders want to do. Is that the way to support him? 27 first half points? Okay. So we get into the second half. Whitt Jr. was trying to make adjustments. Matter of fact, he succeeded in making adjustments. Does not mean they worked, because they did not. I mean, I saw dime package with Reeves in the box. Lulu got moved to edge rusher. Payne was at defensive end. He was throwing the kitchen sink, everything he had at Dallas, and nothing was working. One of the only bright spots I really saw in the second half was when Jordan McGee would get on the field. And guess what? He got a nose to the football. He was in on the action. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? A guy who was drafted to embody that run and hit style for a defense that can't fit the run and that can't tackle and that doesn't have speed. A defense that operates in the exact opposite of the way it was supposed to be built. As soon as you get a player on the field who fits that mold, he makes some good plays. Is that crazy? I'm being facetious here. There was nothing fixing the secondary. Lord have mercy. When Trey Amos doesn't look great, that's when you know you've got a problem. He finally got beat. Pickens again, man. Pickens is just on one right now. Dak had a great ball to him up the right side. Sainristil and Lattimore had a couple of PBUs. That's the only good thing I'm going to say about the pair of them. So now with that out of the way, let me get into it. Marshon Lattimore. Dak was looking for you any chance he could. He was just saying, find Lattimore and run, and I will throw the ball to you. He's not going to stop it. He's going to miss the tackle. You're going to catch it on him. You're going to get a holding. You're going to get a pass interference. This is an automatic positive play. The zone coverage is soft as Charmin. But, you can't go man coverage either because your team's not good enough and because you've got limitations. Now, this roster is limited. It's not perfect. Far from it. But again, I consider it my responsibility to be responsible. So when everybody was bagging on Joe Whitt Jr. saying his scheme sucks and he needs to go, I was saying, guys, I can't tell you how much I disagree with you. It's not a scheme problem. He's changing it. It's just not working. My thing with Joe Whitt is whatever's going on in the practice field, however they're communicating, whatever the teaching is, it's not working. And all this accountability stuff at the press conference only goes so far. Yes, I respect Joe Whitt Jr., the man. But when you continue to say, this is my fault, I'm not teaching them right, I'm not putting them in the correct positions, you change things and it still doesn't work week after week after week. He said it himself on Thursday when he spoke to the media. This is only lip service if the changes don't work. Well, here we are, Joe Whitt Jr., full circle. Respect for you as the man. I'm sure you know more football than I will ever know in my entire life. But at this moment, nothing is working, and it is your fault. If I'm a straight A student, but then I get an F in math class, it's my math teacher's fault. I didn't just forget everything. I didn't develop poor study habits. I didn't do any of that. You're not teaching me right, not putting me in positions to succeed. So when the coverage is so soft and everything, it just, I said before the game in my preview, things are never as good as they seem. They're never as bad as they seem. I was right, but they're not as bad as they seem because they're worse. Scheme is not the issue. They've tried so many different things. The issue is adjustments, coaching, game planning are just pathetic. And it's not just Joe Whitt Jr. This is the biggest thing I want to say. It's not just Joe Whitt Jr. Dan Quinn wears responsibility in this whole ordeal. He's a defensive coach. He was the DC of the Cowboys for the last 3 years when they had the best defense in the NFL. But lest we forget the biggest moments of Dan Quinn's career. And hey, I would hate to be judged by my lowest moments as well. So I hesitate to do it with another man. Because DQ's got some bright moments, winning the Super Bowl with Seattle, getting to the conference championship last year. But some of his biggest moments are some of his biggest collapses. When the Cowboys gave up 48 points to the Packers, the 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Ironic, Tom Brady's calling this game. The offense gets back out on the field. There's a false start. The camera pans to Jayden, and he's got his eyes closed. He looks like a boiler that is ready to bust. He looks like he wants to scream at the top of his lungs, but he doesn't get the chance because a few plays later, a free blitzer comes through, rocks him. He injures his hamstring. I honestly don't know how. If anything was going to happen on that play, it looked like a knee, maybe an ankle. One way or another, he injured his hamstring. And Jayden wasn't great in this game. He was inaccurate on some plays. The timing was off with some of the receivers. We can blame the elevations and the injuries and stuff like that, and that does play a part in it. But as the quarterback, if the throw's there to be made, you got to make it, and he wasn't doing it. So Jayden wasn't great in this game. He certainly was not the problem. Don't get me wrong. I said in my preview that in some ways we're sending Jayden out there to die. I meant that from a football perspective of giving him no weapons to go against the top offense in the NFL. I didn't know we were literally sending him out there to die. Literally. He's the most hit quarterback in the NFL over the last season in 7 weeks. He already missed 2 games with an injury. If this is a multi-week injury, we're at the point where I say shut him down. If this is a multi-week injury, you're on the road for Monday Night Football against the Chiefs, home for the Seahawks, home for the Lions. That's 0-3. It is. The best case scenario is you sneak one and you're 1-2. So at 3-4, you would be what, 4-6 or 3-7. At that point, again, if it's a multi-week injury, shut him down for the year. You already don't have the tiebreaker against 4 different teams. The team is also bad. Clear, glaring issues on the coaching staff. And I just don't see how the sense of belief in the brotherhood, I don't see how it survives. It's time to really put that to the test. Let me say that. All I've heard for the last year and a half is brotherhood, brotherhood, brotherhood. We're so tight-knit. That's easy when you're winning, man. Winning solves everything. Let me see it right now. Because the coaching staff has made it clear we're not going to be we're not going to have the highest tactical acumen, and we're not going to win on the clipboard, but our aggression, our physicality, and our togetherness, that's going to win games. Well, you're not really physical, or at least maybe you'll hit players, but you don't actually tackle them. We know that much. Your aggression, well, you give up. You have the worst secondary in the NFL. And brotherhood and the togetherness. You find out about men and teams and brothers when they're at their lowest points. I'm not calling out any of these players for a lack of leadership or anything like that. But if you do go to 3-7, what is the product on the field going to look like? Am I justified in saying it's probably going to be diminished a little bit? I feel like I am. The 5 names to remember. Let's change it over. Let's get into them. Before I do, I need a drink. This is water. YouTube, don't demonetize me. I need a drink of water. The 5 names to remember. For those of you who are new around here, we have 4 different options in a grading scale. The red is for that's unacceptable. I don't want to see you ever again. You lost us the game. Stuff like that. Yellow is that was bad. I'm concerned. Played a role in us losing. Green is nice job. Thank you. Dark green, game ball. You took over the game. You dominated in a victory. Things like that. I'm going to leave you guys to take a guess at what most of the colors in this video are. It's not a clean sweep. We got 1 green to give out, but it's not the headliner, so I'm not going to make it. Our first square, it is a red for Dan Quinn. This was the first time I looked at you when the television cameras panned your way to the sideline and said to myself, this is a fireable offense. Now, I don't believe in coming on. I don't want to be the guy who comes on his platform and campaigns for another man to lose their job. So I am not telling the front office it's my opinion that Dan Quinn should be fired. I'm saying my interpretation of today's game was that as a fireable offense. And if that's how Adam Peters and Lance Newmark and everyone else chooses to see it, then we know what will be done. I'm not expecting it to. Aside from a couple of guys on the defensive line, there are just no redeeming qualities with this defense. And the problem here is, as much as this is an offensive-driven team, you are a defensive-minded head coach. You are the one who came up with Band of Brothers. You are the one who came up with run and hit, tackle, produce the football, turnovers, aggression, Rough Riders. I don't see any of it. I'm looking for it, man. I really am. I really am. I respect you as a man. I had so much fun last season. This is where I lose. My heart breaks because I had so much fun last season. There's some people watching this video who, it was a long time ago, and I know we all wish it wasn't such a long layover, but you got to watch the Super Bowls, man. You got to watch Doug Williams and Joe Gibbs and John Riggins, and you got to be at RFK. And in some ways, maybe it's even harder for you because you have to see the state of where the team is at right now. But in my lifetime, I had never seen anything like what happened last year. And that was supposed to be the low point. The roster last year was worse than this year. I don't give a damn what anyone says. The roster last year was worse than it is right now. The worst a rookie quarterback should ever be is in their rookie season. Last year was so much fun. I'd never gotten anything like that in my lifetime. My 27 years as an NFL fan, I never felt those emotions. So maybe it's my fault for feeling entitled to them, but I don't think I was. I came into this year saying 9-8, 10-7. I didn't know the identity was going to be lost. I didn't know we were going to put our tails between our legs. I didn't know I was going to lose my trust in the coaching staff. I can't wait to hear what DQ's press conference is after the game. I'm sure it's out by now. I haven't heard it because I've been here talking to you guys. I need to hear a deviation from the soundboard. I always talk about it on this channel. The soundboard. Brotherhood. Dog-ass competitor. Way we get down's not for everybody. You know the drill. There are player limitations with this team. There absolutely are. This is not a perfect roster. But there is no excuse for the defense to be awful, 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 awful. 2 years running. If Joe Whitt Jr. wasn't the guy, then fire him and hire someone else. If he is the guy, it should be better. And either way, whichever reality that is, you are the head coach. You are the defensive guy. You are the one who oversees this. You are the CEO of the company. We lose that sometimes in football. It's easy to blame the offensive coordinator for the offense. It's easy to blame the defensive coordinator for the defense. When a company goes kaput, you don't look at the CMO and say, oh, dude, the marketing, that would have saved it. You fire the CEO. You fire the president. It's a red for Dan Quinn, man. First time I've looked at him and felt what I just witnessed was a fireable offense. It's a red for Joe Whitt Jr. It is. I've not been a Joe Whitt Jr. defender. I've been a Joe Whitt Jr. I don't even know what the word is. I've just tried to be fair. Again, I've given him yellows in videos before. I might have given him a red before, as a matter of fact. No, I take it back. Cliff got a red for the Packers game. I've given him a couple of yellows, talked about on this channel, said things have to get better, coaching, blah, blah, blah. But I was always there to say it's not the scheme. We're now at the point where it is. Because he's tried everything. And if he's going to go man heavy, he's got to figure it out. If he's going to go zone heavy, he's got to figure it out. They're limited in what they can do. But within those limits, they don't work. So what's the point in abiding by them? There's miscommunications. The players are sloppy. Tackling's not there. I have no faith, none at all, virtually regardless of the opponent. Maybe the Raiders, the Titans, and the Browns. We'll put them in a separate bucket, even though Geno had 250 yards and 3 touchdowns on us. Put them in a separate bucket. Maybe I think every other team in the NFL I have no faith they're not going to score on a given drive. What did Dak finish this game with? I can check now that the game's over. 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, 19 for 116 and a touchdown. The Cowboys averaged 6.6 yards per play, 410 yards of total offense, 6 for 12 on third down, 3 first downs from penalties. Commanders finished this game with 11 penalties for 118 yards. Turned the ball over twice. Guess what? Yet again, you did not produce a turnover. If the ball is life, you have freaking died. And if we were talking off air, off YouTube, it would be a different F word coming out. It's a red for Whitt Jr. It's a red for Marshon Lattimore. Does he have a vendetta against us? Did the fans do something to him? Did he want to play for the University of Maryland and they denied him a scholarship? Did he want to get drafted by the Commanders? Did Dan Quinn backdoor someone in his family? What happened? What happened? I can't count it. I'm at my wit's end. I tweeted this. Marshon Lattimore is a walking human patience test. That's all he's here for. He is here to see how long you can endure the brink of insanity, and I've hit that point. Put him on the bench. Cut him. Trade him. Do anything. Change it. Enough defending. If you want to continue to defend the players, and if your mind that's the right thing to do, and heck, if I was a coach, maybe I would say that too. But I would at least bench the player. I would show you with my actions what I think. Maybe I wouldn't call them out by name in the press conference like Carson Beck did with his receiver, if you saw that. Dak was just looking for wherever he was and throwing the ball at him. Didn't matter what the concept was, how deep it was, who the receiver was. Just throw it at him. You're going to catch it. You're going to force him to miss a tackle. He's going to commit a penalty. Those are the only 3 options. He got railroaded by Javonte Williams on the first play of the game. Just ran right through a mother effer face, Marshawn Lynch style. Completely crunched him. He's losing in man. He's losing in zone. He's losing against the run. He is a lost player. I don't want him to fail. I want him to succeed. I want the best for him. Because if I got that, my team would be better and we'd be winning games, but we're not. And it's a red for Marshon Lattimore. He should not be on the field again. The only green in this video, Daron Payne. Genuinely, Daron, thank you. For all the years you've been here and for how pathetic of a franchise we have been, you had more right to give up than anybody. Yet you were the one who was fighting more than anyone else. Oh, and by the way, Daron Payne had an illness in this game. Could have easily sat out. He had 3 pass deflections in the first half. He had a tackle for loss. He had the safety. He had numerous pressures on the quarterback. If there's a guy whose spirit should have been crushed after all those losing seasons in Washington, he got a taste of the glory, and then all of a sudden he got sent back to right where he was before. Daron Payne deserved to give up more than anybody. And he was a warrior. And now I feel bad, man, because I've talked on this channel that if you can trade Daron Payne, you do it. Not that he's playing poorly or have anything against him. I just didn't think the team was going to keep him around because of the money that he would be making this year. He was slowly changing my mind week by week with how well he was playing. But after seeing it today, there's some guys who didn't give up. Kinlaw didn't give up. Luvu didn't give up. But Payne stood tall. He represented himself well. And in such an embarrassing moment, a stain on this franchise, yet again, yet another one, as if we're not beaten and bruised enough, Payne rose tall. I almost want to give him a dark green out of respect. I'll make a final call when I edit this video. Final square is a red for injuries. Jayden didn't play great, but man, what am I going to say? Tyler Biadasz had a really bad game, but do I even really think it's worth mentioning Tyler Biotish over everything that's going on. Dietrich Wise is on IR. Will Harris is on IR. Jonathan Jones came back. I don't think he got a snap in this game. Terry McLaurin's out. Noah Brown's on IR. Deebo Samuel is out. Luke McCaffrey, I thought he broke his back. Spinal, Mike Tyson style, if you get the reference there. Everyone's hurt. Again, Jayden's now hurt. I would give real consideration to shutting him down for the year if it's a multi-week injury. If you're 3-6, 3-7, what's the point, dude? This is a forward-facing franchise. You have the franchise quarterback. Save him from himself. Save him from the team. If you find a way to go 2-1, 3-0, put him back out there. I'm not a Philadelphia 76er where I just go into every year wanting to tank. But if the reality is we're losing games and his presence probably isn't going to change all that much, maybe instead of going 4-13, you go 6-11. Who cares? Trade Terry McLaurin. Trade Deebo. Trade Lattimore. Trade as many non-essential pieces for the future as you can. And talk about some of these guys like, look, I'm happy with Deebo. I really am. I've really enjoyed him being here. I've welcomed his addition to the team. As many non-essential future pieces as you can, trade them. Get the value for this team. To the question, should the Commanders be buyers or sellers at the deadline? They should be sellers. Everything should be thinking about the future as we move on from what was one of the most forgettable moments of the last year and change. So, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Very emotional video. Speaking as a fan, I might watch this back, and there might be some things that maybe I normally would have kept my mouth shut on. But if you guys are like me, then I feel like you deserve to hear it. So, appreciate you all being here with me. Make sure you hit the like button if you did enjoy this video. If you enjoyed the honesty, go to the comment section. Let me your thoughts on everything I said. To the Cowboys fans, again, congratulations. Your offense looks unbelievable. Dak is playing at an MVP level. Pickens might win Offense Player of the Year. Javonte Williams could come for the rushing title. Congratulations. You guys deserve it. I'm going to head out of here, guys. As I always say, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.